But due to that, actually, it makes me feel more required to actually convert so that I can truly give my son the best opportunity. And this groundwork that, now we have to build a Jewish family. You got to convert, if that happens. So it's such a good safety net that without it, it's almost chaotic.
I
Right?
like
Like
that. Yeah.
my son, he's 4, and I didn't even know Jews actually still existed until a few years ago. I feel like it was so, Northeast New England sort of. I just didn't really know. Jews have kept their lifestyle to themselves better than most people. But now I feel like I have an opportunity to give my son, a real opportunity into following Hashem, living Torah, studying Torah, having it make sense, and also being normal, being a regular part of life. As opposed to if I didn't convert and it's sort of like my hobby, like, come on, kid, like join in my hobby. No, this is real. This is Torah. This is life. We're Jews. It's a really good safety net to always be reminded what we live for, what we're really aspiring to. And it's the family. That's the family that makes me need it. If I was by myself, I don't know if I would really need to convert. I could just be whoever I want and do whatever I want as a goy if I choose to follow the Torah. But according to Judaism, the more you study, you really do need to convert if you want to study and grow. It's part of the process. You can't really get anywhere without that. I definitely acknowledge that part too.
Yeah, I think the aligning yourself with like-minded individuals is the most important thing. First, we're talking about dating and being with the opposite sex, but without having a community, it doesn't. These last 2 months that people have been locked up at home, now everybody has a taste of what Noahides and Gerim Toshavim and all these people who want to convert, what they're going through religiously. That every Shabbat they're forced to be home alone and all they have is Google Hangouts and Facebook. I mean, it's quite depressing, but of course people are never going to mention this. Like for Jews to know what Noahides are going through or people who really want a community. It's great to have a community, okay? And when you live in an actual Jewish community with a lot of synagogues and kosher restaurants all over the place, your whole day is packed. From the morning you wake up, you go to shul, the afternoon on Shabbat, Friday night, you go to shul and you go eat at someone's house. Then Saturday morning, you go to shul and then you go eat at someone's house. And then you go to shul again for third meal. And you're constantly communing with a bunch of people that become your family. It encompasses everything. And you go from like simcha to simcha. You go from like bar mitzvahs, to hasanas to weddings.
Amen.
It encompasses everything. And this is why I think that anyone who's lived it and doesn't want everyone to have a taste is a piece of garbage. I've been to weddings where the woman hasn't even touched the guy, hasn't even kissed the guy that she's about to marry till that night, because they don't even kiss under the chuppah, right? And it's such a beautiful thing. Growing up in the streets and seeing women who like let you take advantage of them sexually if you just buy them a Happy Meal, and you're going to hide this for yourself. And I didn't want to bring up this topic again, but this whole notion of the God to be thing. There's a lot of people in the Jewish world who also don't know this. Only because you're a secular Jew doesn't mean that you know what Judaism is about or living in a Jewish community is about. Okay. And there's a lot of people in Israel who are atheistical. They're agnostic, they're secular, and they live just like Goyim live in America or Goyim live all over the world. To not give them an outlet to some form of religiosity and just leave them in emptiness, because these atheistical individuals are very nihilistic. They're very self-destructive. They suffer with depression. This idea that someone walks around feeling that they're a piece of cosmic garbage because everything is by chance and there's no creator, there's no purpose in this world. And they're going to keep a message like, let's say, Messianic Judaism, because the argument here is Messianics could teach because it's Israelis teaching Israelis. I mean, it's a Hebrew channel. Oh, no, we rather them stay atheists. It's the same argument that a Jew would make, no, that we rather them stay Christian in America, right? We're going to keep this for ourselves. Unless you jump through hoops and end up converting, then you're able to make it into the kingdom. You're able to make it into the palace, to give an analogy that appears in Guide for the Perplexed. And it's really the same attitude that we're having with the Israelis in Israel, saying that if they don't come through orthodoxy instead of something that may be more appealing and more interesting to them, like Christianity or Messianic Judaism, then it's better than they have nothing. It's just primitive approach. It's called first stage thinking, that people get stuck on this rut of first stage thinking. and not realize that life is not about perfection and complete cruelty, but the best is the enemy of the better. We have to sort of weigh things out, that some things are a little better than other things and some things are better than nothing. But this attitude that it's all or nothing is what has the world down and keeps people from progressing. This is why it breaks my heart when I think of Noahides who love God, who've given up their friends and their family, and these Jews have no problem making their life impossible, making it difficult to convert, so difficult, a lot more difficult than they make someone who happens to have Jewish pedigree return. All right, we have to sympathize with people. You know, I converted over 20 years ago. I lost all my friends. I lost my first wife because I chose to follow God and Torah, the right path. And if people can't sympathize with that, and they're like, oh, Jorge, or you're a fake. This notion of fakeness, and it's a shame. The people who insult the most are converts themselves, the people who are converting, because my biggest enemies are Noahides and converts. Most Orthodox Jews have more decency. I've never really heard Tovia Singer insult anybody, or Michael Skobach, but their students have a different message just because they haven't been sensitized with Judaism and a Jewish community. All they study is counter-missionary work. We have to start caring about other people and be in the business of saying that what's good for us is good for others. We have to preach what we practice, right? And that's what Jews don't do. Yeah.
I got to say that, Rabbi, and I got to say when that day when I decided to do my own Avraham, lachacha, right? Go to myself that day and back, over 6 years now, well, almost 6 years. And I have to say it was one of the best things I ever did. And just finding a shul to go to and finding a community I never knew existed. I never knew in my own backyard for years. I lived in where I am in this area. And I never knew there was such an experience, it was such happiness, simcha, right? There was enjoyment, whatever, simcha, happy. It was just, I got to give a bracha to everyone in the room, just that everyone may experience what I experienced, and it seems like you did. Yeah, we gave up a lot. I relate
to that, John. Isn't that amazing when you first find, a synagogue that you see the Torah for the first time, or even the first several times, like the first few months, it's like a lust. It's like a new relationship with a woman that you've never known existed. Amen. And that beginning period, really, I thought conversion was crucial, had to happen right now. I got to take it all in, all or nothing. It was a few months. Many months, later, I started falling off a little bit. Going up and down. It's give and take. I started not driving on Shabbat, so I didn't get to go to synagogue anymore. But I suffered in other areas of.
It was a Thursday. I was going. I remember. I went at night. I went a Wednesday night, and I said, "What do you do here?" I'm looking for. A spiritual advisor. I joke with the rabbi because there's a couple of block, like half the block down from where I am, where the shul is. There's like this tarot card reader that says spiritual advisor. I said, I'm looking for a spiritual advisor. He got a chuckle from it, and he kind of pushed the Noahide thing, and he said, there's a website called Ask Noah. You can find questions there. And then I kind of ignored that because at the time I was already a Noahide. And I said, well, I really want to do the Jew thing. I want to do the Jewish thing. So what do you guys do here? What's the situation like? And he says, well, we daven every morning and night. And I had no idea. I had no idea that, the shul is only open at mornings and nights. I thought it was just like a church where it's just like a guy sitting there and he's just waiting for people to show up. Oh, okay, mornings and nights. Really? Okay, Baruch Hashem, I'm going to come. And the next day was Thursday morning. And for those who don't know, every Monday morning, every Thursday morning, and of course Saturdays, they read from the Torah. And I remember just, walking in 7 o'clock in the morning. I get my Siddur. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm fooling around like a moron that I am. And the guy sitting next to me helping me. Oh no, it's this page 80, page 89, page 90, 91. Okay, good. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there. I'm trying to read. He goes, no, you got to stand up now. I go, okay, stand up. What's going on? Oh, we're opening the ark. Oh, we're opening the ark. What's the ark? And then I look over and there's an ark. They're doing the whole ceremony, and they're opening the ark, and there's a Torah scroll.
You start falling in love right there, huh?
Right there, you starstruck. You're like you saw Trump.
I'll tell you guys, you can't really experience this fully, like unless you're Jewish. I'm just saying because they won't accept you. The average Jew, the average rabbi doesn't know what a Noahide is. Like people think like, oh, I'm a proud Noahide, I'm a proud Ger Toshav. No one knows what that is. No one. The average rabbi doesn't know what that is. You're like, you're not Jewish. I mean, some don't even want to convert. And you just want to hang out here.
That's what you are. You're a Torah file. You love Torah.
Because there's going to be a lot of confusion. People are not going to know whether to count you in a minyan or not. They're going to accidentally count you in a minyan. They're not going to invite you for holidays because some people have this thing that you can't cook for Gentiles. They don't know where to place you, and they're not going to trust you also because part of the conversion process, although I'm against it being so long, is for them to build trust, okay, and know that you're serious. Because if someone converts nowadays and they jump through all the hoops, it shows that at least they're serious. And after you've spent a whole year in a community, that's it. People accept you. Okay.
So you're saying I kind of got it. To be honest, what you're saying is I kind of got lucky going to the shul that I did, the Chabad house that I went to just right away. I'm sitting next to people and they teach me how to pray and I got to kiss the Torah for the first.
Because half the people there, or probably 90% of the people who saw you, probably thought you were Jewish. Okay?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
yeah. You have a black hat on, a black coat, and a long beard. I'm just saying.
No, I dress probably like with blue jeans. I mean,
so once they find out that you're a Gentile, they're not going to trust you. In the back of their mind, even though they're not encouraging you to convert, they're thinking like, why aren't you converting? Or why don't you have your crap together enough to convert? And they're going to think this guy is probably an undercover something.
Oh, you're saying if you're saying, okay, let me ask you this question. So what you're trying to say is, well, I don't know, it's a statement more of a question, whatever. You're saying if you're coming as a Gentile into a shul, just to participate as an individual is different than like going to a conversion program and being there for a conversion process.
Right.
Are you saying there's a distinction that Jews make on that?
Shuls are not equipped nowadays to welcome Gentiles in. The only Gentiles that are welcome in shuls nowadays are the staff, or the people who turn on the air conditioner and turn it off and who throw the trash away. I'm telling you, they don't know what to do with you. They're most likely not going to invite you to their house for Shabbat because they don't even know who you are. Like they don't know. Now, if you're in a conversion process, then people know that the rabbi vouches for you. You know, you shake his hand and they'll ask, oh, he's converting. If you're just a Gentile and you go, like I encourage Gentiles to go to synagogue, but Jews, again, are not the most welcoming people. And if they find out you're not Jewish, and if you don't tell them you're not Jewish, they're going to think you're Christian because that's the way it is. They think if you're a Gentile, you're a priest. They don't even know what a pastor is.
Well,
and you're out to hurt
right
them.
Now, I'll tell you right now, they'll let you participate until coronavirus, and then you're definitely not part of the minyan at that point, from experience on this end.
But another thing is that most people coming from Christianity or from some non-Jewish movement, they're very respectful, and they're always waiting for people to come up to them and invite them for Shabbat. That's not going to work in the Jewish world. And I learned this the hard way. You have to invite yourself to people's houses. You have to be in their face. You have to go up to them, shake their hand, say, do you have room in your Shabbos table today? And they're used to it because they're in your face. And this is how you grow in the Jewish world. And I learned this. So I had to go to Israel to figure this out. Because in America, I realized no one was inviting me but for Shabbat meals after I converted. Or even before I converted, for sure, but not before I converted. And then when I went to Israel, I realized, because so many people open their house for Shabbat there, that you invite yourself to people's houses. You have to go up to people, shake their hand, say, Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, how are you doing? Play the same game they do. Play Jewish geography. Who do you know? What do you do? You always start off with what do you do? And don't be a burden to the community.
How you holding? They love to hear that. How you holding?
Right, how you holding? Yeah,
Can I ask the Rav a question before he, heads off for some jog or something?
Yeah, good.
You're not leaving us for a jog, are you, Rav?
And
like in 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
I sensed it. I'll give you an option on the question because I have a few questions. I got my question is very sort of personal, which is, are you there? I'll just ask it straight up how much do you commit yourself to being there for people that you convert? Like normally I would expect that maybe we go through the conversion process, get to know each other before conversion. If I were to come to you do you like having is your phone number in my pocket. When I have crazy questions, I call you. You're there. You're my rabbi, or are
I'm
you
very
like a
approachable.
Rav?
You guys could call me anytime you want, but I'm not technically there for everyone I've converted. I converted hundreds of people, but I'm there. I mean, just call me on the phone. But I'm there to answer questions. There's enough information online. Judaism is pretty monolithic when it comes to halacha. If you're looking for advice, that's really out of my pay grade. I could give you advice on personal stuff, but that's more the job of a life coach.
I'll test it right now, and I'll ask you a follow-up question in there. What's the biggest advice? You barely know me, but you're a rabbi. Hashem works with you.
No, that means
what is
nothing. Rabbis are just there to give you the halacha. All these guys online, Rav Dror, like, I appreciate what he does. All these other guys as well are life coaches. That's it. They're social workers for all intents and purposes. The title rabbi means nothing. When I see a rabbi trying to give me advice on COVID-19, yeah, go ahead.
This isn't about COVID-19. This is a serious question of, like, I've hit waves of, like, saying, praying, davening out of my siddur, X and Y, learning these brachas. But what's the biggest advice you could give to somebody that's converting, that needs to study? What is the biggest thing that I should be focusing on, or somebody like me? Is it learn the bracha for washing your hands, or is it studying the Haftorah, or is it just, following your gut? What is the best advice you can give to somebody who really doesn't know where to go because he's so overwhelmed by the vast amount of options there are to study and to do?
Conversion has nothing to do with coming closer to God. Entering the Jewish people, unfortunately, has nothing to do with coming closer to God. All that should have happened before. Conversion is learning how to live, even think like a Jew, socially, being able to fit in, knowing the lingo, knowing how not to scare Jews away. It's completely social. Your personal relationship with God, you embracing him through scripture, finding devotional texts that'll make your life richer, has nothing to do with becoming Jewish. That's something that you do on your personal time, the way you see fit. Conversion is trying to fit in with the Jewish people. Conversion is a public declaration that you are entering the physical people of Israel legally, halachically. That's what halacha is. Halacha deals with the legal. Someone could be halachically Jewish and not in any covenant with God. Karl Marx is halachically Jewish. Bernie Sanders, Seinfeld, Woody Allen, they're halachically Jewish, but they don't even would necessarily believe in God. So you're learning how to be a Jew socially. Has nothing to do with God. Spend as much time around Jews, make connections. I'll tell you, when you convert and you do enter that Jewish community, you're going to start making more money too, because you're going to start meeting the right people. You're going to start learning how to act. Just living around Jews is going to force you to strive to make more money, just because now you're surrounded by lawyers and doctors and millionaires. Half the people in my synagogue are millionaires, okay? It makes me go that extra mile because I don't want my wife to think that she's with some loser. So it's going to make me go out there and hustle more. And I don't think that I would be as successful as I am now if I didn't convert to Judaism. I converted over 20 years ago, and I've only worked for Jews since I converted.
Do you think that's because of the promise that God gave to Abraham? That
no, man, this is just practical. Jews take care of each other. They look at my resume. They see that I went to Bar Ilan. They see that I lived in Israel. They're like, come right in. Jews take care of each other. And they don't care if you're a convert. They just know that they can trust you, because that's the main thing about employing people in high positions. It's just the lack of trust that there are with the whole world. They just don't trust anyone, but they're willing to give half of the company to someone they trust. I'm the CTO of two Jewish companies. And that's what the owners tell me all the time, that if they could trust someone, they would make them a partner. They just can't trust people. Now, clearly, everything I'm saying now has nothing to do with spirituality and God. This is just reality. Okay, doors are going to open. Right. You're going to learn how to hustle. You're going to learn how to make money. A lot of these people who act like experts in Judaism on Facebook and all these Noahide groups don't even know Jews and don't even know that what it is to live in a Jewish community. It's unlike anything you've ever seen. Every Friday night, you're going to eat at different houses of very wealthy people, eating food, very expensive food. The person to the right of you and the left of you is going to be lawyers and doctors. Socially, you're going to change. I would say for the better. this is something that's never mentioned. People think, oh, Jews, Jews are just like the guy said, Christians without Jesus. Nonsense. It's like you're not going to be ready for what you're going to experience. So you know how many people move to New York? So you know what it is to live in New York City and survive in a Jewish community? If you're not making over 80 grand a year, it makes you wake up and try hard. But it's easier when you have connections. Because if you're davening in the shul every day, or even just in Shabbat, the first thing people ask new people they meet, what do you do? What do you do? That's very important because connections and that Jewish geography is very important.
What is the importance of taking the time to try to fit in?
It's just as important as your decision to enter the Jewish people to begin with. There's no point in walking with God if you're walking alone. Making the world a better place is a team effort. You have to align yourself with like-minded people. So getting along is as important as choosing to join.
So
okay.
Let me ask you this, though, because it seems like, well, let's not rehash some things we always talk about. Is becoming Jewish not simply just about, I hate to say it, I hate to put it this way, but this is what it might be, what it comes down to. Being Jewish may not necessarily be about ceremonial hand washing, but it really may be about, the job that you have and the role that you play as an individual.
There's layers to it.
In the community.
It's a mixed bag, clearly. Not all religiosity like a Christian may think, because Christianity is really, you're a Christian when you walk into church. But it's not like you're going to church every day in the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Judaism is a lifestyle. I've never even taught this before. Okay. But it's very important to talk like a Jew, to make money like a Jew. That's just the way it is. Even the poor Jews try harder to hustle. Just tuition in itself. My daughter's school tuition is $18,000 a year, and she's in 7th grade. Okay, in an Orthodox school, Beis Yaakov. This is like
you're talking about the Orthodox school. You're talking about the kosher tax, the food that you eat. That's 20% of your paycheck.
You gotta make money. However, I'll tell you, like, if you don't have the money, they'll work with you. If you're Jewish, they're not gonna let a Jewish kid not go to a religious school. They'll work with you. You give them something, but they're not going to let you forget the break they're giving you, and they're going to expect you to fundraise for them or something. It's a different world. It's a different world than
I don't think I ever went to a shul and ever talked to someone there about their religious experience.